योगेन्द्रम् नत्वा ज्ञानप्रदं गुरुम् मुमुक्षूणां हितार्थाय तत्त्वबोधोऽभिधीयते. So we have finished 2 topics of Tattva Bodha, and now we are entering into the 3rd topic, which is all about Jagat Utpatti, about this creation of this universe. So there are a total of 5 topics in Tattva Bodha. The first topic tells us about the qualifications a person needs for this knowledge, this Paravidya. Then from the second topic onwards, actually indirectly, the Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi is being analyzed. Most of the texts of Vedanta analyze this Mahavakya. This is the teaching Mahavakya. So Mahavakya is a profound statement which is a great equation which is revealing the truth of this world. Mahavakya, that is the subject matter of the entire scriptures. So that is being condensed in this one Vakya, which is called Mahavakya. So the definition of Mahavakya is Akhandartha Bodhakani Vakyani is Mahavakya. Akhandat Vakyani statement, Bodhaka which is giving the knowledge of, Akhandartha. Akhanda means no khanda. Khanda is duality. It is Dvaita. And Akhanda is Advaita. There is no duality. Everything is just one Brahman, is the teaching of Vedanta. So the second topic which we just finished was the analysis of Tvam Pada of the Mahavakya Tat Tvam Asi. It analyzed the Tvam Pada. Tvam is the individual. Then the third topic which we are going to start is Tat Pada. Tat is Ishvara. So Tat Pada. And the fourth topic is Asi Pada. Asi is the Jeev and Ishvara Aikyam. The oneness between Jeev and Ishvara is the Aikyam. That is where we have to reach. That is why we are analyzing everything, so that eventually when we come to the equation crux, then we have to understand all this, We have to understand how there is an Aikyam here. And then the last topic is about Gyan Phala. Gyan Phala is the fruit of this knowledge, because without knowing the fruit, nobody is going to come for this. As it is Vedanta, people run away, take Vedanta's name and they'll run away, and then you don't know what's the end result of Vedanta, so nobody wants to come. But the result which Vedanta is giving is out of this world. This world cannot give what Vedanta can give, This is going to give Jivan Mukti, and it is going to give Videha Mukti. Jivan Mukti, every moment of my life I am going to be at ease with myself. A person who is not at ease is diseased. He is only looking out on this world, how to become comfortable. Something in the world is required for me to be comfortable. But Vedanta is going to give you that phala with which you do not require anyone in this world. You are going to be comfortable with yourself, So this is what Vedanta's result is. In the Shastras there is a Nyaya which is known as Singha Avalokana Nyaya. Singha in Sanskrit means a lion, and Avalokana means looking back, So Singha Avalokana means when the lion walks a little bit, this is a fact, it turns back and it looks, So that is used here in the Shastras, that we must, whenever we study something, we finished a topic, we must look back as to what we have studied. Otherwise in the end, it will all be a brainwash here. We won't know really, because this is not that easy to understand, So every topic which we finish, we must look back and see what we have said. Singha Avalokana Nyaya. So that is why in most of the classes I'm repeating, what we've, so that get the grip of it, because my aim is moksha. I have to reach there, So the first topic, what did it tell us? It told us the qualifications a person needs for getting this knowledge. Such a person is called an adhikari. This person has to have some inner wealth. That is the qualification. Like every other study here in this world requires some qualification, then only you can sit for that entrance examination, And this is the entrance examination here. We have to qualify something. There has to be some qualification, but the qualification here are not the worldly qualifications, They are called sadhan chatushtaya sampatti. The chatushtaya sampatti, the four inner wealths, which are a sadhan, a means for this knowledge. And what were the four sadhan chatushtaya sampatti? They were vivek, vairagya, shamadishat sampatti and mumukshutvam. So the first quality was vivek. Viveka is the capacity to discriminate between what is real and what is unreal in this world. Then vairagya is the capacity to be able to have dispassion for what is unreal. Don't give it too much of importance in life. It's unreal, We have to concentrate on the real. And if I'm so attached with the unreal, there is no way I can realize my real self, So certain amount of dispassion, detachment is required, That is where the major problem is. Everybody is so attached to everything here that they cannot reach the end, But the vairagya is the very important requirement. Then third is Shamadhi Shatka Sampatti. Shatka Sampatti is 6 sampattis, the inner wells, which are Shama Adi. Shama Adi Shatka Sampatti. Shama, what is Shama? Is the control of mind. I have to have this equipment, this mind under my control to some extent, Nobody can have 100% control. It is such an equipment which God has created that it is not possible to have 100% control of this. That is why Arjuna said in Bhagavad Gita, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna pramathi balavadranam tasyaham nigraham manye vayo ivasu dushkaram. Like I'm trying to catch this air, it's as difficult as that, this mind. But yes, there are methods and ways which Vedanta is teaching. Even just putting your mind in Vedanta, this equipment will start coming under control, Karma yoga, good service here, It's not selfish living here, Nishkam Bhav se living here, All that is going to change this inner equipment of mind, If we take a bath and clean the body, but we can't clean the mind like this, So this mind will come under my control when certain qualifications come, when I have served here, when I think good, because thoughts are making this mind, What kind of thoughts am I having in the mind? So all that depends on my own karmas, So we have to have this. So Shama, first qualification is Shama. Whatever extent one has, if one is sitting in a class of Vedanta, you have Shama, that's why you're sitting here. It's not possible to sit here otherwise, So the second is Dhamma. Dhamma is having sense controls. These 5 senses of ours, they are so powerful that if there is no control over them, they are always interested in running towards their sense objects. 5 sense objects make up this world, and I have 5 sense organs. So if there is no control, inherently they have attraction, towards these sense objects. Each sense organ is attracted to its sense object. Eyes like to see something nice, ears want to see, want to hear good things, the tongue wants to taste good stuff. It is inherently there. God made it like that, So I have to control this equipment also. Otherwise they will derail us, if you're always chasing this world. The senses, people who don't have higher goals in life, they are only living this, they're existing here. If you look around, what are the people doing? And they are so content with this life. They're just existing, marking time. From morning to night, there is a ritual, a mechanical ritual which they are going through. Now you have a cup of tea, now you go for a walk, now you do another, go to sleep, wake up and no higher goals in the mind, So when the mind doesn't have higher goals, these senses become very powerful and they drag the person towards the sense objects. That's all most of the people are doing, So I have to have these senses under my control. I have to be the master of my mind. I have to be the master of my senses, Then I can go towards my goal, Then the third was Uparama. Uparama is withdrawing my senses from the sense objects, turning inwards in life. Because Atma is inside. This is what I'm trying to search. Atma is outside also. It's all over. But I can only figure it out within me. There is no way I can figure out where is Atma outside. Within me I can find out, where is the Atma, who is the Atma, what is the Atma, So, Uparama. Turn away, turn inwards, withdrawal, becoming inward. Then the fourth is Titiksha. Titiksha is the capacity to endure the ups and downs of life, Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilapa rahitam sa titiksha nigaddate. Little bit of trouble, physical, mental, whatever, like always complaining, so uncomfortable, No, we have to put up with it. If we can change the situation, change it. Have the courage to change it, And if I can't change the situation, what's the point of lamenting and complaining, I have to just put up with it and be comfortable inside, Otherwise, this mind is so restless because I'm not accepting that situation, The mind is restless means I am restless, So, Titiksha, we have to put up with the trouble. Then it was Samadhanam. Samadhanam is the capacity to be able to concentrate and focus on the subject at hand. Whatever I am doing in life, whatever I am doing, there, the whole concentration and focus should be there, And then the last was Shraddha. Shraddha is Guru Vedant Vakyeshu Vishwasaha Shraddha. I have trust and faith in what the scriptures are telling me. And what the Guru is saying is only what the scriptures are saying. So whatever the Guru is telling me, what the Shastra is saying, I have Shraddha in that, Because till the self-realization happens, it's all pretty unbelievable, that this is how it is, this is what it is, all this is Brahman, all that is not easily believable. But I have trust and faith in what the Shastra is saying. I give the benefit of doubt to the Shastras. And then I try for self-realization, and once I realize the self, it's all going to be clear. This is what it is, this is the fact, Problem is in other things, like science is going to prove something. Some scientist has proved, and everybody is able to believe that because he's physically proved that, It's proven in the laboratory and it's proved. But here, individually, each person has to realize the self, We cannot just reach there just because somebody else reached there. No, I have to only reach there. So these are the Shamadhi Shat Sambatti, and the last one was Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is the intense desire for moksha. This desire is what drives everybody to come and get this knowledge, The whole journey of our life, is only to reform these desires which are, because we are just following the desires. The desires are driving us, If there is a desire for Artha and Kama, then I can't come here and study Vedanta, So gradually the desires from Artha and Kama have to be changed to Dharma, and from Dharma you come to Moksha. So this desire, it is an intense desire. So this was the first topic we saw. Then from the second topic, the Tvam Pada of the Tattvamasi Mahavakya is being analyzed, which is all about the individual. So it made us understand that the human being is made up of two components, the Atma and Anatma. These two components are mixed up together always. They can never be physically separated, and the whole process, the whole journey is a cognitive understanding of who I am through this mixture. Because if I take the unreal to be myself, then my life is going to be miserable. This is what it is. If I'm taking something wrong, it's a mistake. I'm missing the real reality and I'm taking what is not me, That's where the trouble happens. So Anatma and Atma are mixed up together, and out of this, Anatma is material component and Atma is the spiritual component. The material component is this body, mind, sense complex of ours. It is made up of matter. It is Jada Tattvam, it is inert. The definition of matter only is that which does not have life of its own is matter. So this is matter, which is quite unbelievable again, because I'm experiencing it as life, But it can become life, the Shastra is telling us, because it has the capacity to borrow consciousness from the Atma, and it becomes alive on borrowed consciousness, So we are made up of three kinds of matters put together: causal matter, subtle matter, and gross matter. Out of the three, the causal is not manifest. It is unmanifest. We experience it in the deep sleep state, So the manifest are two shariras, Sukshma Sharira and Sthul Sharira, which we experience. We experience our mind, we are experiencing our body. These two are manifest. Out of these two manifest ones, it is the Sukshma Sharira which can borrow consciousness, because its composition is such that it can borrow consciousness from Atma. And Sukshma Sharira pervades the Sthul Sharira, so Sthul Sharira also becomes alive. Actually, birth is Sanyoga of Sthul and Sukshma. These two coming together is birth, and these two separating, Viyoga of these two is death. So the Sthul Sharira is what dies in every birth, and the time is accounted by our Prarabdha Karmas. And the Prarabdha Karma is not as per days and months here or hours. It is as per our breath. The number of breath is what is taken into account for this life of Sthul Sharira here. The moment we take the last breath of our Prarabdha Karma, the Sukshma Sharira is going to depart from the Sthul Sharira, And once it departs, the Sthul Sharira dies. The composition of Sthul Sharira is such that it cannot directly borrow consciousness from the Atma. If it could, then it would never die, because Atma is all around, but this Sthul Sharira cannot borrow consciousness directly, only Sukshma Sharira can. So this is the three Shariras which we are made up of, and then we are not this Anatma. This was what we understood. Then my reality is what? It is the Atma. Atma is the Chaitanya Tattvam. It is the consciousness, it is the awareness in me which is the reality, Atma is limitless. It is free from the three limitations which are there in the world. Limitation of time, space and objectivity. These are the three limitations here. Atma is not limited in time, means it is Kalatita. It is beyond time. It is eternal, always present. Then it is not limited in space, means the bodies are in space, but Atma is not present somewhere in space. In fact, the space is present in Atma. This is the teaching, So it has no limitation of space. It has no limitation of time, and it has no limitation of objectivity, means every object here in this world is the manifestation of Atma. There is no limitation of objectivity. So it is limitless. Then the nature of Atma, Swarupa of Atma is Sat, Chit and Ananda. Sat is Kalatraya api tishtati iti Sat. Present and past, present and future is Sat. Then Chit is Jnana Swarupa. It is of the nature of consciousness. And Ananda is Sukh Swarupa. It is of the nature of peace and happiness. There is no object in the world here which can give me lasting peace, lasting happiness and lasting security. Is there any object here? No, it's all in the realm of time, Whoever comes has to go. Whatever I hold on to, either it changes or it goes away, So that cannot give me, even the thought that it will go away takes the peace of my mind away, So whatever I am holding on to, my life is dependent on that. I know that thing can go away anytime, anything can happen, Just knowing that I am the Atma is going to give me all these three, because the nature of Atma is peace and happiness, and Atma doesn't require security because Atma is Paramatma. Paramatma doesn't require security. You get security from Paramatma, So this is what I have to know, and this is what we understood in the second topic. So having finished that, now we are entering the third topic, and the third topic analyzes the Tat-pada of Tattvamasi. Now Tat-pada is a thing to understand. Tat means Ishvara. So what is Ishvara and who is Ishvara? This question only doesn't arise in the minds of the people. Just blindly, all they know maximum is that there is some supreme power here. If I pray to that supreme power, he is going to solve my problems, worldly problems. Full stop. That's it. Beyond this, the thought only doesn't come in most of the minds. There are some very selective people who want to know. That's how they're studying, The foreigners come to India, but Indians, diya tale andhera, they don't require all that, They're too busy in all this worldly stuff, People, from remote countries, catching flights and planes and going to a small dingy place where one Swamiji is teaching Vedanta, they are living there between stray dogs and mosquitoes, everything, no problems. They want to know Vedanta, they've had enough, this world enough is enough ho gaya, So that is the requirement, but in India, no. Most of the people know. So, now just like in ourselves, Vedanta gives all this, I'll give you a little bit because the whole topic is going to analyze this. So just like in ours, we have three shariras in which the Atma is manifesting. Atma is the Paramatma and there are three shariras. Similarly in this Jagat, there are three prapanchas. In totality, when we talk about the matter which is manifesting here, it is called prapancha. So there is a sthul prapancha, there is a sukshma prapancha, and there is a karan prapancha. We are talking about totality. And here we have sthul sharira, sukshma sharira, and karan sharira. Now in me, in these shariras, the consciousness which manifests is called jiva, and in the jagat, the consciousness which manifests in these three prapanchas is Ishvara. Okay? Now, in us, the three shariras are manifesting as this body, mind, sense complex. But in the Jagat, the manifestation of matter is as Ashtamurti. We've studied that, Panch Mahatattva, the five Mahatattva, Mahabhutas. Sun, which represents all the luminaries, moon, which represents all the planets and satellites, and all the living beings. This is the manifestation of matter in this Jagat. And the manifestation of matter in us is these three shariras. So the consciousness manifesting in me is the God within me. The consciousness manifesting in this Jagat is God. That consciousness, and Jagat, what is the limit of this Jagat? It is Brahmanda. This is, and the Jiva is known as Pindand, also in short known as Pind and Brahmand. Now we have so many galaxies here in the universe. Ours is only one Milky Way galaxy, that is our galaxy, Then in our Milky Way galaxy there is a solar system. There's so many stars here, and one of the stars is Sun. The stars are 200 light years away. What does that mean? It takes 200 years for the light to reach me. That is where the stars are. This is the Brahmand, Then in the solar system there is one planet which is Earth. In the Earth there are so many continents, and there is one continent as Asia. Then in that Asia there are so many countries, and there is one country called India. Then India, there are so many states, and there is one state as Telangana, And then in Telangana there are so many cities, and there is one city called Hyderabad, And in Hyderabad there are so many colonies, and there is one colony called Ved Vihar, And then in Ved Vihar there are so many blocks, and there is one block called H block, And in H block there are so many houses, and in one house called H13. In H13 there are so many rooms. There's one room called our Satsanga room, In the Satsanga room I am sitting. I, that big I. Now do you know the Brahmanda and this I, look at this, and I go on I, Array, this is no comparison. I am like a speck of dirt here, in this Brahmanda, But the consciousness in me, in this little speck, and the consciousness is Brahmand is the same. I am a Jiva, and this consciousness is Ishvara. So this is what we're going to study this, So now in life, our life involves from morning to night. From the morning we get up till night we go to sleep. What are we doing? We are interacting with this Jagat, the subject and the object. This is my life, this whole interaction which is going on. And all the sukha, dukkha which I am experiencing is the result of this interaction which is going on. So I have to understand these two principles properly. Who am I and what is this Jagat in front of me? If I don't know, then how am I going to be comfortable, If I come to know about these two principles, only then can I have quality life. I can even understand what is life, I can live a successful life. And success is not material success. This buy a house, buy a car and buy jewelry. This is not success at all. Yes, we do need this to some extent. So you can say both material and spiritual success, but more of it is the spiritual success, because I have to be comfortable with myself. What will I do with that bank balance if every moment of my life I'm uncomfortable, and whatever is there in front of me, this is going away, that is going away, it's going to go, and even the scare that I am only going to go away, But if all the time this is the worry that I'm not relaxed, so that's not life. I mean, most of the old people you see, they're so miserable that they're so uncomfortable with all that last stages of life which is going on, and they've got huge bank balances. What is that bank balance doing? How is it helping me solve these problems here? It doesn't. So I have to have this self-knowledge, So I must understand what is me, the subject, and this Jagat I am interacting with, I have to understand everything. If one of these two principles are not there, there can be no transaction. In deep sleep state, there is no subject, I am not there, and the objects of the world are not there. So there are no transactions, For this transaction to happen, for my life to happen, I can't keep sleeping, all the time, or sit in samadhi. I have to interact, I have to live my life, So for that I have to understand these two principles properly. So we have finished the topic of Jiva in the second topic, and now we have to understand the Jagat here, this Jagat. The Jiva in Sanskrit is known as Vyashti. Vyashti is called, or Pind, Pindand, Pind. And the Jagat is known as Samashti. In English it's called microcosm and macrocosm. This is the macrocosm and this is the microcosm, So I have to know everything, so that I want to know what is the nature of this world, what is the cause of this world, from where did this world originate. These questions have to come. They'll only come when the mind is subtle and refined mind. These questions come. Otherwise, gross living, the sense gratification going on, ego gratification going on, or even maximum intellectual gratification going on, that's gross living. It has to come to the spiritual realm, Then that is a refined mind. It's thinking, this is a thinking mind. So I have to know all this about the Jagat, And these answers, who can give? Only the Shastras can give us, This is known as Vedic cosmology. This is given thousands of years before, And the Shastra has been given to us, how many thousands of years before. So, so Shastras tells us that whatever I'm seeing here, whatever I'm interacting, whatever I see this Jagat, it is an effect, and every effect has to have a cause. So I must know what is the cause, Even science is always looking for the cause. What is the cause? What is the cause? When you really want to know something, now if I have a disease, I want to know what is the cause. Because with that only my mind will be at rest, and the doctor will be able to diagnose only and treat me only as what is the cause. So I want to know what is the cause of this world. And also another very important thing before we get into the topic to know is about the law of conservation of matter and energy. Matter and energy are not two different entities. They are the same entities in different forms. Matter and energy are interconvertible. Matter is gross energy and energy is subtle matter. And they keep changing forms, Matter converts into energy. Now when we eat food, it is matter, that food. It goes inside and turns into energy. Then that energy converts again into fat in my body, proteins in the body, and goes and gets settled here and there, So what is happening? Matter converting into energy, energy converting into matter. And both of them are not created. They are not like, it's not matter is born and matter is destroyed. No, there's no creation and no destruction of matter. It just changes forms. First it is present in Karan Prapancha. Karan Sharira in me, which is the causal state. We saw that it has the seed of Sukshma and Sthul Sharira in it. From there the Sukshma and Sthul Sharira manifest. So similarly the Jagat is present in Karan Prapancha. That is the causal state of this Jagat. Everything has to have a seed stage. Without that there is no manifestation here. It is the seed stage, So then from that it comes into manifestation for some time, and while it is present it goes on changing, and then again it goes into the unmanifest form. So from one form it's just going on changing. Like that water is liquid, and it is what? H2O. What is H2O? Now we boil the water, the entire water becomes water vapor. It's turned into steam, and water vapor is what? H2O. It changed its form from liquid to gaseous state, Then you condense. So here the death of water is what? Birth of steam. Then you condense that steam. So the death of steam is birth of water. That's what's happening in rain. That is what is falling as rain, Then you condense the water further, and then it becomes ice. So the death of water is birth of ice. And all three, water, steam and ice, are H2O. They're just changing the form. That's all is changing. It's not that H2O vanished away from this earth. No, it didn't get destroyed. It is very much present there. It's just in a different form. So this is the cycle of creation, So when we understand that, it's going to be easy for us to understand that this matter which Jiva is made up of and the Jagat is made up of is just changing forms. It's not created. It's not destroyed. in this life of mine, the physical body is going to die. Everything is not going to die in this, The Sukshma Sharira is going to travel. And this which will die, which will go back to Pancha Mahabhutas, from where it came. So it's a solid cycle, It's a very ecological cycle which is going on. So there's no destruction and there's no creation. This we have to know. Once we know that, we'll understand. So now we will read. अथः चतुर्विंशति तत्वो उत्पत्ति प्रकारम वक्ष्यामः. So now Guru is saying atha. Atha is such an important word in the Shastras. It's as important as Om. They'll just use these, words atha, tata, idam, aham, and you're supposed to understand what that means if you really want to understand the Shastras. Atha means now. Now, after having understood all about the Adhikari, all about the Twampada, now when we talk about this, you are going to understand. Otherwise, there's no way you can understand. If somebody walks into Tattva Bodha class, says, I also want to join in, and here we are talking about Pindanda, Brahmanda, and Karan, Prapanch, and Sushma, what is he going to understand? He's not going to understand anything. So you have to attend each class. That is why one class miss, and there's so much gone. So that I'm trying to repeat it again and again for people who don't. But this is how it is, That's that background understanding. If you have this, moksha is going to be a cakewalk for you. You just reach there. So atha, now after having understood this, now I'm going to tell you Chatur Vimshati. Chatur means 4. Vimshati in Sanskrit means 20. Okay? Chatur Vimshati means 24. 24 Tattva Utpatti Prakaram. These 24 first evolve here in this universe to make this Jagat. 24 principles manifest here to make this Jagat. That Prakaram is the methodology. Vakshyamaha, I'm going to tell. Actually, Vakshyamaha means we are going to tell. The Guru is not saying Vakshyami, he's saying Vakshyamaha. Vakshyamaha means we will tell. In the Shastras, each and every letter, every matra which is used has got deep meaning. It's not used for the sake of poetry or some completion of some meter here, It is meant, it's got a meaning. And what does Vakshyamaha mean? Vakshyamaha is, he's saying, because he's taking into account the Guru Shishya Parampara. He is saying what his Guru has taught him. His Guru told him what his Guru had taught him. Because Shastras cannot be understood on your own. You need a Guru for this. So this is the Guru Shishya Parampara which started from Bhagwan. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So this Ishvara, when he is the teacher of Vedanta, he is called Sada Shiva. That's his name, Sada Shiva is Bhagwan as a teacher of Vedanta. He is also called Dakshina Murti. That is also the God as a teacher. And Bhagwan gave this knowledge to the rishis in their meditation. The rishis gave it to their shishya and they gave it to their shishya, and that's how the parampara started, Asmada Acharya, till my teacher. Asmad means my, Acharya is the teacher, from where I am getting this knowledge. And in between, Shankaracharya Madhyamam. Shankaracharya ji, when he was born, at that time in India, Vedanta had vanished, especially Advait Vedanta was nowhere in the scene here. 80% of the people had turned Buddhists. And those remaining 20% which was there, they were following different philosophies. Now there are many, Hinduism doesn't mean Advait Vedanta. There are so many schools of thought in Hinduism itself. So this yoga of Patanjali Maharaj, what they are telling is not what Vedanta is saying. Their philosophy is that moksha is reached by chitta vritti nirodha. Chitta means the mind, vritti is the thought, nirodha means stopping. You stop your thoughts in the mind to realize that you are the Atma. Their moksha is chitta vritti nirodha. But Vedanta doesn't say that. How can you always try and stop your thoughts, So they are always trying to go into samadhi. All the time they want to sit in samadhi because they want to get moksha, and for them the thoughts have to be stopped, And Vedanta says that the mind is a thought producing instrument. It's going to just go on producing thoughts. It's an equipment to produce thoughts. And I am the witness of the mind. I am not that mind, I am the witness of the mind. So I don't have anything to do with the mind. I know how the mind can be refined, by good karmas, good all that. That is a different aspect. But that's not our philosophy. Vedanta is not saying that. But they say, so there are different schools of philosophies here in Hinduism itself. Then when it comes to Vedanta, in Vedanta itself there are three schools of thoughts. One is Dvaita Vedanta, one is Vishishta Advaita Vedanta, one is Advaita Vedanta. So this Dvaita Vedanta, where, there they say that Jiva and Ishvara are separate. They can never be the same. Jiva is separate, Ishvara is separate. That is Dvaitam. This, is as per the Shastras, the different interpretations of the Shastras, especially Brahma Sutras. Their interpretation, because that is all logic and understanding. Brahma Sutras are logical, you have to understand Vedanta. So their interpretation is given these schools of thoughts that there was a teacher called Madhvacharya. He has given this interpretation that there is Dvaita here. There's Jiva separate and Ishvara separate. And how do you, if you are separate from Ishvara, then to reach Ishvara you need bhakti. That's all you will do. Then the other is Vishishta Advaita. Vishishta Advaita is, they say that the whole thing is Ishvara, everything is Ishvara, but Jiva is an amsh of Ishvara. Is a part of Ishvara. It is Vishishta Advaita. The teacher which gave this interpretation is Ramanujacharya. We have his center here in Hyderabad. That Chinna Jira Swami he heads that. And there is a statue of Ramanujacharya installed there. Modi ji had come recently to inaugurate that, So there's a huge center. But they are believers of Vishishta Advaita. And if you're away, if you're separate from Ishvara, then again the only way to reach Ishvara is bhakti. But it is Advait Vedanta, which the interpretation Adi Shankaracharya ji has given, that there is no difference in the reality of Jiva and Ishvara. Whether I am that small thing in the Brahmand, but the consciousness in me and the Brahmand is same, and that alone is the Atma, So this is the difference in the schools of thoughts in Hinduism itself, So here the Guru is saying, Vakshyamaha, I am telling you what my teacher has told me. He is taking into account the Guru Shishya Parampara. Now Chaturvimshati, 24 tattvas which is going to create this Jagat, we are going to understand that. That includes 5 Mahabhutas. Then the 17 principles we had studied about Sukshma Sharira when we had studied. 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Prana and Man and Buddhi. In Tattva Bodha, the Antakarna was said in the beginning as Man and Buddhi. That's a broad name for the Antakarna, but that includes the Ankara and Chitta. I had also said earlier, So the Antakarna, the inner instrument, is made up of 4 faculties. Man, Buddhi, Chit and Ahamkara. So 17 plus 2 is 19 and 19 plus 5 is 24. So these 24 tattvas first evolve, and then out of that the Jagat is going to be created, So that he's saying, I'm going to tell you, So now we'll read. Brahmashraya Sattva Rajas Tamo Gudatmika Maya Asti. So the Guru is saying that this Jagat, what I am encountering, is from Maya. Now what is Maya? Maya is the causal seed of this Jagat. This Jagat Utpatti happens with the seed called Maya. Maya is the causal state of this Jagat. In us, what is the causal state? Karan Sharira. We saw that. The seed of the tree is, there is a seed which produces the tree. Everything has got a seed. A child is produced by the seeds of the parents. Everything has a seed, So what is the seed of this Jagat? The seed of this Jagat is Maya. Maya is the Karan Prapancha. Whenever we talk about the Jagat, we have to use this word Prapancha, and when it comes to us, it is Sharira. That's the difference. So, Karan Prapancha is the causal seed of this Jagat. Just like in us, in our causal state, there is Atma and Anatma both, and we've studied that these two are mixed up together. We cannot separate these two. Similarly, in the Karan Prapancha of the Jagat, there is both Atma and Anatma present, but the names are different. Just like Prapancha and Sharira, similarly the Atma and Anatma got different names. The Atma in totality is called Brahman, and the causal matter in totality is called Maya. Understand that? So there are two principles which are required to create this Jagat, Brahman and Maya. Just like a child to be produced requires mother and father. Similarly, for this Jagat, it is Brahman and Maya. Symbolically, the father is Brahman and mother is Maya. Jagat Pitaro Vande Parvati Parameshwaro. The Pita of this Jagat is Parameshwara and Mata is Parvati Devi. You must have seen that picture of Ardhanareshwar, in which half God is man and half woman. Shankar Bhagwan and Parvati ji, half, is called Ardhanareshwar. That is the symbolic depiction of Brahman and Maya, these two together. So these are our parents, the higher parents. And Brahman and Maya are not separate, they are mixed up together. Just like in our causal state, Atma and Anatma are mixed up together. Similarly, Brahman, Maya, we don't consider them two entities, but they are composed of God. God is made up of Brahman, Maya, So, in our life here, we have parents, but they are in the realm of time, So, but our actual higher parents are Brahman and Maya called God. So, everybody's parent actually is who? God is everybody's parent. He is taking care of us, Maya is mother and father is Brahman. And so there is no orphan in this world here. We'll go away, but our parents are eternal. They're always there. And we must know this fact that every one little ant and to the elephant to a blade of grass, everything is being taken care of by our higher parents. They are taking care of everything. You don't have to worry. You've got parents always. Even how old I become, I have my actual parents. They're always there for me. So he says, Brahma Ashraya Sattva Rajo Tamo Gudatmika Maya Asti. So Brahman, the father principle, is the consciousness, and matter is Maya. So matter cannot do anything. Matter is dead, it's inert. So Brahman, the consciousness, pervades Maya, and then Maya becomes active, it starts evolving. So the father principle is just present, blessing. That's how consciousness is, like the sunlight. It's just present. In the presence of sunlight, everything happens here in this world, The morning when the sunlight comes, the birds start chirping, the flowers bloom, everybody becomes active. Just presence of sunlight. Sun came, Even in this room, the light present here, light is not changing, light is not doing anything, but in the presence of light we can have a class here. So similarly, Brahman is just present, and Maya getting activated by Brahman, it evolves into this world. And carrying on that parampara, in every house, the father just sits reading the newspaper and is the mother who runs around, Mother has produced the child, mother is going to bring up the child, mother is going to run the home, father is present, at least in the home is just present, he's providing, supposed to be. Today of course that has also changed, the newer generation is all 50-50, they work outside, come back home and it's all divided here also. But our time, no matter what work you came and did, here also we had to work only, because the fathers just sit, that maa ka ladla beta, he's not taught how to do anything, so he'll not do anything, he'll not touch anything in the house, he doesn't know, because even if he pokes his nose, he'll come and mess it up, so we only say, you stay away please, because we're in a hurry, you don't have time for all this. So Brahman is not doing anything, Brahman is just present, and Maya, blessed with Brahman, produces this world. So he's saying Brahma Ashraya, Maya is Ashrita on Brahman. Brahman is Shaktiman and Maya is his Shakti. There's a beautiful bhajan which says, Tum sukhkari, tum hitkari, ardhangini hai Shakti tumhari. That's why woman is called Shakti, because that's the mother principle. So, so getting blessed with the consciousness, the causal matter in totality starts producing this Jagat. In Maya, in that state of causal state, there are three gunas which Maya has: Sattva, Rajas and Tamo guna. Sattva guna stands for knowing. Whatever, if anything we are knowing is because of the Sattva guna in us. Rajo guna stands for doing, for activity. We need that also. We need Rajo guna for activity. And Tamo guna means relaxation, it's it's inertia, it's rest and relaxation, which we also require, otherwise we won't be able to go to sleep. So there are three gunas which are present in Maya in the causal state, and in Maya they are not operational, they are in a state of equanimity, they just rest, they're not active there. Newton's law of motion states that every object is in a state of rest till it is disturbed by an external force. That's the Newton's law. So similarly in Maya, these three gunas are in a state of equanimity. They are not active, they are not operational. But once the law of karma disturbs them, that's the cause, which will the karmas of the jivas, then the manifestation of the Jagat starts off from Maya. The manifestation happens in two stages. One is from Karan Prapancha to Sukshma Prapancha, and then from Sukshma Prapancha to Sthul Prapancha. Right? From just like in our body, from Karan Sharira to Sukshma Sharira to Sthul Sharira. Similarly in the Jagat, Karan Prapancha to Sukshma Prapancha, from Sukshma to Sthul Prapancha. So first from Maya, this I am telling you because it's not given here, but it's not possible to understand without this also. So first from Maya, Panch Mahabhutas, the Sukshma Panch Mahabhutas manifest, The Sukshma Panch Mahabhutas are the Apanchikrit Panch Mahabhutas. We've studied that, There's a process called Panchikarnam which we are going to study later. That turns the Sukshma into Sthula. Anything Sukshma, like my mind is Sukshma and the body is Sthula. So from this, the conversion, this is also Panch Mahabhutas. The mind is also Panch Mahabhutas, but the mind is made of apanchikrit Panch Mahabhutas and body is made up of panchikrit Panch Mahabhutas. Because everything is actually coming from Brahman only. Everything, the whole world is a manifestation of God, So there are different ways of matter, different types of matter. We said now our body is made up of 3 types of matters. So here, once the Sukshma Mahabhutas come into manifestation, then they will first produce Sukshma Bhautikas. Means like our Sukshma Gyanendriyas, Karmendriyas, they are going to be formed. These are called Bhautikas, Bhutas and Bhautikas. The elements and the elementals, these are formed. So first the Sukshma Bhautikas are formed from Sukshma Bhutas. Then the Sukshma Bhuta undergoes a process of Panchikarnam and forms Sthul Bhutas. What we are experiencing here in this world, the space, the air, this is Sthul Bhutas. These are not Sukshma Bhutas, Sthul Bhutas. And then Sthul Bhutas will manifest as Sthul Bhautikas. Our bodies of all the animals, plants, everything, these are Bhautikas. These are elementals born from the elements, and the Sthul Bhutas are formed from Sukshma Bhutas. Sukshma Bhutas form Sukshma Bhautikas. So there is a process in this, This is how the world comes into being. Now these Panch Mahabhutas, all of them, these 5 have come into manifestation. Now all 5 are going to have Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, because Maya has got it. The causal body has got it. Karan Guna Karye Anuvartante. Whatever is present in the Karan, in the cause, has to be present in the effect, So the cause has 3 gunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. So the Panchamutas have to have these 3 gunas. And along with that, each Mahabhuta has got its own property. These are Panch Gunas of Panch Mahabhuta. Separate properties are also present. Now we have Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. Shabd is sound, Sparsh is touch, Roop is sight, Ras is taste, Gandh is smell. These are present in the Panch Mahabhutas. These are the properties of Panch Mahabhutas along with the 3 properties of Maya, which is coming from the cause, So this is every time one Mahabhutas comes into manifestation, is going to have one of its own property and 3 properties of Maya. So if there's no point starting the other shloka, we will take it up in the next class. So up till here, what we've seen, that Maya is the causal seed of this Jagat. It has 3 gunas present in it, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. With Sattva Guna, every manifestation has got these 3 gunas. The difference in the manifestations here is the amount of guna present. A Sattvic person is inclined towards knowledge. A Rajasic person is inclined towards activity. A Tamasic person is dull person, So these gunas are in different proportions present in every manifestation of this Jagat. The animals are supposed to be tamasic, because they're always sleeping. See, eat, sleep, procreate, eat, sleep. That's what they're doing, So it's belong to more of tamas in them, And there's some people who are so active, They're seeing that you can say this is a Rajasic person. And some of them are inclined towards knowledge all the time and knowledge, Sattvic. Sattva Guna is more in that person. So from these, the whole creation is going to come into being. And all these properties which are present, the sound from where it comes, the touch, how they're going to make the Gyanendriyas, how they will make the Karmendriyas, how in Samashti, in totality, how from Karan Prapanch, the Sukshma Prapanch is going to be formed, from Sukshma Prapanch, the Sthul Prapanch. This is all Sthul Prapanch which we are seeing. So this is an order which we will see from the next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hari Om.